Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing the books I read this month, last month, but like it's barely November, so I thought it would be okay to do the October books I read this month today, because like I said, it's barely November, so I think it's fine. So yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. I have read 6 books this month, not to completion. There are 2 of them that I'll put at the end that I am yet to finish. Some people might think that's cheating, but I still read them this month, and yeah, I'll get into it a bit more later. But yeah, we are going to get right into it. So let's start with Upon a Frosted Star by M.A. Kuznia. Oh, I did Google how to pronounce this. Hold on. I think it's Kuznia is the general. But anyway, so yeah, Upon a Frosted Star. So this is her Great Gatsby slash Swan Lake retelling. And just look how gorgeous this thing is. Like, look at this. Look at those frayed edges, people. Stunning, absolutely stunning. It's a stunning book both inside and out. I did do a post about this one over on my Instagram, so if you want a bit more in-depth review from me, then you can go check out my Insta, and posts for the rest of these books will be following. I'm trying to get better at Instagram. I'm still really bad at it. Okay, allow me. I'm trying. We'll get there one day. But yeah, so I shall read you the blurb. So it says, the invitations always arrive the same way, without warning, appearing around the city on the first snowfall of the year, simply inscribed, tonight. When struggling artist Forster, I think that's how I was saying it the whole time, Forster. This is what it says. So that's how I was saying it. Finds an invitation, he's bewitched by the magic of the evening, swept up in the glamour of this notorious annual party, and intrigued as to who is behind them. Determined to find out more about the mysterious host, Forster discovers an abandoned manor silent with secrets and a cursed woman who is desperate to be free. Then it says, a bewitching new story inspired by The Great Gatsby and Swan Lake from the best-selling author of Midnight in Everwood. I'm trying to remember if I talked about Midnight in Everwood on my channel last year. I can't remember if I did or not, but if I didn't, I definitely will be talking about it in December, because I plan to reread it. Yeah, or like recommend it as like a good Christmas read, because it's like a Nutcracker reimagining, so obviously Christmas, perfect. So yeah, if I haven't talked about it before, I'll talk about that in more detail in the months to come. But yeah, it's by the same author. Again, it also does have beautiful sprayed edges. But yeah, let's look at my notes. Actually, my notes for this one was, I was so immersed in this story that I forgot to take notes. I was getting really, really good, right, at like every time I finished reading a chapter, just like writing down my thoughts. And yeah, I didn't do that for this book because I was just too into it. But yeah, the world building is incredible. Yeah, even though it's like not set in like a different universe, it's like set in like 1920s London, but just like, I don't know, I felt like I was in 1920s London. Like, just the descriptions are so good. I don't know, just the way this woman writes is just like magical and like spellbinding. I just, yeah, I like, her writing does things to me, like, so good. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I will say, spoilers alert, the ending got me a little bit mad, and I was actually quite angry about the ending. And I literally went to my parents, I was fuming, like, my book didn't have a happy ending, grr. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, Swan Lake has a tragic ending, so it makes sense. So I maybe need to like chill, basically. So yeah, but the writing is beautiful. So like if you're going into winter, you're transitioning from your Spooktober read to something a bit more wintry, I say this is perfect because most of the story only takes place when there's like snow. It's like a whole thing that like the magic only like happens when the snow falls. I'm trying not to spoil it, but like it's to do with like snowfall and stuff, so very good wintry read. Now you guys might know, because I talk about it all the time, my favourite book of all time is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Love it. Love it. So it's a trilogy, it's now completed, the final book is out. I have read it, we'll get onto it, but first, before I read the new one, I had to reread these bad boys. Hold it the right way, Caitlin. Had to reread these bad boys. So yeah, I reread Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After. I have multiple editions of these books. As you've probably seen before, like when I talked about Once Upon a Broken Heart for the first time, I had the UK hardcover edition. I also purchased both paperback editions, and I found the US hardcover edition online, and the same with The Ballad of Never After, and I'm sure I'll do the same with The Curse of True Love because I love it. That's that really. So yeah, I love these two. If you want me to talk about it, like if you want to see me talk about it in more detail, I will find where I first talked about Once Upon a Broken Heart on my channel, and I'll link it like in the corner. But yeah, very good. I'll read you the blurbs in case you don't know what the heck is going on. So the blurb for Once Upon a Broken Heart is: for as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happily ever after until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with a charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So yeah, and when I went to meet Stephanie Garber at Waterstone Piccadilly, she was, who was in conversation with her? I think it was Catherine Doyle, I think, one of the authors of the Cursed Crowns little series. But yeah, she was like, what was the inspiration? And she was like, I really wanted to write a book that was like murdery Cinderella. And everyone was like, oh, I see that. I see that. Yeah, and it's just like, I think it's just like the best fairy tale I've ever friggin' read, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. This is the best book in existence. I've never read a series or a book that I love more than this one. I'm very sad it's over now, but we're going to move on to the blurb of A Ballad of Never After. Be warned, this book is sad. This book is sad. And they say it all the time in the book, and I never saw it coming. But it's literally said so many times in this book, is ballads never end happily. And then obviously this book is sad. So, and when I was rereading it, I was like, oh my gosh, she was trying to warn us this whole time. But I remember the first time I read it, it just went, pfft. Anyway. So, after Jax, the Prince of Hearts, betrays her, Evangeline Fox swears she'll never trust him again. Now that she discovers her own magic, Evangeline believes she can use it to restore the chance at happily ever after that Jax stole away. When a new terrifying curse is revealed, Evangeline finds herself entering into a tenuous partnership with the Prince of Hearts again. Except this time, the rules have changed. Jax isn't the only force Evangeline needs to be wary of. In fact, he might be the only one she can trust, despite her desire to despise him. Instead of a love spell wreaking havoc on Evangeline's life, a murderous spell has been cast. To break it, Evangeline and Jax will have to do battle with old friends, new foes, and a magic that plays with heads and hearts. Evangeline has always trusted her heart, but this time she's not sure she can. There is, how many chapters is it? There's a couple chapters in here that like actually melt my heart. Like with the romance, I'm like, oh my god. Dying. Like, yeah. Also, just look how beautiful this cover is. Can we just, like, it's friggin' stunning. Stunning. But yeah, these were the two Waterstones exclusive paperback editions. So the standard editions are pink, and then these were like the Jax exclusive editions. So yeah. They're so cute, aren't they? This series makes me so happy. I can't even begin to explain what this series means to me. Anyway, so now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the finale, A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. Let's get into it. So, and at the start it says, to love and curses. Two villains, one girl, and a deadly battle for happily ever after. Who is ringing me? Oh, it's my mum. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. So, where was I? Evangeline Fox ventured to the magnificent north in search of her happy ending, and it seems as if she has it. She's married to a handsome prince and lives in a legendary castle, but Evangeline has no idea of the devastating price she paid for this fairy tale. Also, if you haven't read the last two, this is spoilers. Just saying. FYI. Carrying on. She doesn't know what she has lost, and her husband is determined to make sure she never finds out, but first he must kill Jax, the Prince of Hearts. Blood will be shed, hearts will be stolen, and true love will be put to the test in A Curse for True Love, the breathlessly anticipated conclusion to the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Then on the back, may the best villain win. Okay, so this book was exciting for multiple reasons. So, all the books up till now have been from Evangeline's point of view. But when I say that, I don't mean it's in first person or Evangeline being like, I went to the Magnificent North. It's like Evangeline went to the Magnificent North, Evangeline. Like her thoughts, do you know what I mean? Everything like that. But there were two new POVs in this book of Jax and Apollo. Exciting, isn't it? Isn't that exciting? Yeah, it was wild. I remember there was like, before it came out, everyone was being like, who do you want Evangeline to end up with? And everyone said Jax, obviously. But I remember I saw one comment of this girl being like, I want her to be with Apollo. I want him to get a shot. And then, spoiler, skip to this time if you don't want this next spoiler. But as I was reading, there's a bit where like Apollo literally murders a 14-year-old boy. And I remember being like, oh, this girl that wrote that comment is going to be devastated because you can't be redeemed after you kill a child. You just can't. Like, there's no going back. But yeah, anyway. Spoiler is over. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I expected to cry when I finished reading it just because it was over. But I didn't. I think because it was like the ending that I wanted. It was just happy, you know? So I think maybe that's why I didn't cry. But yeah, it also maybe felt a bit anticlimactic. I don't know. I don't like endings. I don't like when things are over. And it was just wrapped up. And I was like, oh, that's it. I know, I just feel like there's more to the story, I think. I think that's the feeling. It doesn't feel quite resolved. Like, it feels resolved for now, but I feel like shit's gonna hit the fan in like the next 6 months or something in this fairy tale world. That's what I feel like, and I'm like, I want to know. Like, I feel uneasy, is that it? I don't know. It just doesn't feel fully resolved. If you've read the book, then maybe you get what I'm like saying, but like it doesn't feel fully like the end, even though I know it's the end, unless Stephanie's tricking us when she says that her next book isn't anything to do with this, unless she's playing with us. I don't know, but I don't want it to be the end. I want it to be like J.K. Rowling and keep like adding shit like in 20 years time, just be like, oh yeah, by the way, that's what they're doing now. Like that's what I want from this. That's what I want. And I also want there to be a Once Upon a Broken Heart movie trilogy and for me to play Evangeline, because I looked good with pink hair, guys, when I did that makeup video. I looked good with pink hair. You can't deny it. I'm low-key gonna dye my hair pink in the summer, I can't lie, guys. Stay tuned for that one. For in about 6 months' time. So stay tuned. But yeah, did I write any notes? Or was I just living my best life? I did write notes. I was so excited and also kind of scared to read this book. I was literally shaking. I also low-key didn't want to start it because I didn't want this series that has meant so much to me to be over. And there was just there was some lore, like backstory that was like revealed, and I was like, oh my god, I literally put like crying emojis after it. So yeah, shall I say them? No, I'm not gonna say them. You're gonna have to read the book. I'm gonna say this bit though. So there's a bit where Evangeline slaps Apollo, and I literally wrote, she slapped Apollo, what a queen, she's an icon, I love her. Also, with this book, Stephanie said there was gonna be alternate endings. So the Waterstones exclusive edition, which is what I possess, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and then the Owl Crate editions, we're gonna each have a different alternate ending. And when I went to that evening in Piccadilly with Stephanie Garber, she said that there was one ending that was light and like happy, one ending that was dark, and then one ending that was just like weird. And so I don't think the Owl Crate editions have shipped yet. Maybe they have now, but when I was looking to find the other two alternate endings online, they were like the Owl Crate one, we don't know. But yeah, I've read the Barnes & Noble one as well. It's on Twitter. I'll link the Reddit thread down below that had like the alternate endings in case you're like me and from the UK and want to read the Barnes & Noble one, or if you're from the US and want to read the UK one, I'll put it in the description for you. But yeah, and then as I read that one, and obviously I've read this one, I was like, which one's light and which one's weird? Because neither of them are dark. So I'm like, so one of them's the light one and one of them's the really weird, like out of left field one. And like, I don't know which is which. They just both seem like perfectly happy endings to me. And I wish they were like included in like the full book, because like they're such cute scenarios. Yeah. I don't fully know what's going on. So yeah, I'm guessing the Owl Crate one's the dark one, because neither of these were dark. Because like, Stephanie can be dark. Stephanie can be dark. So neither of the two alternate endings that I read were dark. So I'm confused which one's out of left field and which one's like light and happy, because to me they're both light and happy. So yeah, that's the only thing that I'm like, Also, she said we were going to find out what was up with Jax and his apples, and like we kind of didn't. Like we kind of did, but I remember at like the Piccadilly event she was like, the colour of his apples are really important and you'll find out. And so when I will show you this, when I was rereading the books, I made a friggin' list of all of Jack's apples and the colours and when he was eating them, because she said it was important and it just wasn't. She mugged me right off. Yeah. Not happy about that. But it's okay. Oh, my dust jacket's still sticky. I hate books that have stickers. Side note, but yeah. So yeah, that is the end of the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. My heart is broken, don't know about anybody else, but I don't want it to end. I've kind of touched on it on my Instagram and stuff like that, but like, this series has just meant so much to me, and like, I see a lot of myself in Evangeline, and like, I don't know, she just came into my life when like I weren't doing great and I was having quite a rough time of it, and a lot of the things in myself that I thought were like negative and like bad qualities, like I saw in her, and they were like part of her strength. And I don't know, it was just, I'm not gonna get too much into it because I'm gonna cry, but the series means a lot to me, and we're just gonna leave it at that and we're gonna move on. Okay. Okay, so now we are on to the 2 books that I am yet to finish. So this one I'm going to talk about now, and the next one are still quite Halloweeny, spooky season books. So if you're like me and you kind of want Spooktober to continue a little bit, then I would recommend you pick up a copy of these books and keep the Halloween vibes going for the next couple weeks still, because I think it's still too early for Christmas in my opinion. I mean, in my house it's not allowed to be Christmas until it's been my birthday, so until the 25th of November, which is the day after my birthday, until the 25th of November, it's friggin' Halloween still, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah. So, the first one we're going to talk about is Blood SisterScribe by Emma Torrells. I don't know how you pronounce her surname. It's got the 2 dots above the I, and I don't know how you say that, so I'm sorry. But I was reading this before A Curse for True Love came out, so obviously as soon as A Curse for True Love hit my doorstep, I had to put pause on this one. So I did talk about this in a book haul video. Which one was it? I don't know. But yeah, I have read you guys this blurb before. But if you haven't seen this video, if you haven't seen that video, I shall read it again for you, my darlings. So, oh, I forgot that there was all these weird names. Joanna Calote, that's how I'm saying it, lives alone in the woods of Vermont, the sole protector of a collection of rare books that will allow someone to walk through walls or turn water into wine, books of magic. Her strange older sister Esther moved between countries and jobs, constantly changing, never staying anywhere longer than a year, desperate to avoid the deadly magic that killed her mother. Currently working on a research base in Antarctica, she has found love and perhaps a sort of happiness. But when she finds spots of blood on mirrors in the research base, she knows someone is coming for her, that Joanna and her collection are in danger. If they are to survive, Esther and Joanna must unravel the secrets their parents kept hidden from them, secrets that span centuries and continents and could cost them their lives. I think it's perfect for spooky season, even though spooky season, technically speaking, is over, but in my heart it's still got like another week and a half, 2 weeks in it. So I'm gonna keep it going. And if you're like me and want the spooky season to continue, pick up this book. I think whenever you combine magic and blood, things are gonna get creepy and spoopy. So yeah, I just wrote perfect spooky fall vibes. The only thing I will say, and this is such a small like critique, but the writing, like the font, is just really weird. Like, I think it's just standard like whatever font, but it's so small, it's taken me like a while to like read, and it's kind of really impacting how I enjoy the book, to be honest. I do like the story and the vibes, but yeah, the font sizing is kind of impacting my reading ability and my reading enjoyment. So that's what I will say. That's the only thing I'll say. Like negatively about it, because obviously I haven't finished it. I feel like I can't speak too negatively about it, plot wise. But yeah, it's spooky. It's autumnal vibes. Like it's a good one. Haven't finished it yet, but everyone was raving about it, so it must be good. It got a bit hyped, so it must be good. And finally, we have The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. Again, I've barely read any of it actually. I only bought this like on Monday. So yeah, I've only had a couple days reading it, but I love it. It gives me like teen witch drama vibes, kind of. Let me read you the blurb. Actually no, let me show you the front. Practice safe hex. I just think that's so funny. I saw that and I was like, ha! Like, it's just so funny. Always practice safe hex, guys. But yeah, it says, magic doesn't always play by the rules. Ooh. So, I'm pronouncing this Gwen in my head, but it might be Gwen. But This is the name. I pronounce it Gwen. So, Gwen Jones is perfectly happy with her life in Gravesglen. She's formed a powerful new coven with her family, she's running a successful witchcraft shop, and she's mentoring some younger witches. As Halloween approaches, there's only one problem. Llewellyn? I'm not Welsh, so I am sorry to any Welshies out there that are like... I think that's how you say it. Llewellyn? Yeah. Wells is his name that he goes by. Penhollow. Wells has come to Gravesglen for 2 reasons: to re-establish his family's connection to the town and to make a new life for himself away from his father. When he opens his own magic shop, he quickly learns that going up against Gwen won't be easy, especially after an accidental magic-inspired and very hot kiss. Well, that wasn't me saying "and very hot," that's on the blurb, just saying. While Gwen and Wells are fully committed to their witchy rivalry, they're thrown together once again to deal with the sudden appearance of the mysterious new coven and Gwen's growing concern that something or someone is messing with her magic. Like I said, I love it. It's giving Halloween Town vibes. It's giving Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's just giving like a Disney Channel original Halloween movie about witches. Like, that's the vibes. Is like mid-2000s Disney Channel. And I friggin' love that. I love that. So yeah, it's cute. I'm not that much into it. It's not got like dramatic or anything yet. They've not even kissed yet, so yeah, but he's just got to Gravesglen, so, you know, we'll see what happens, you know. It's quite funny as well. Like, there was a bit that I was reading where I was like, well, she could use magic to find out what he's doing, but like, even witches have to have standards, and using magic to spy on someone is just like, oh, I've got to find that quote now. It's really funny. Aha. Now, Gwen knew she could use magic to figure out exactly what Wells was doing, but the thing is, a witch had to have standards, and for Gwen, using magic to spy on someone was a little on the sketchy side of things. I just thought it was so funny. I just love, like, there's loads of lines like that in the book, and I just love it. Yeah, it's kind of like, this wasn't the most popular Halloween Town movie, but it was like the last one where they changed the actress playing Marnie. And she went to Witch University, and she was like kind of rebelling low-key a bit, just being like, ugh, why is it also like stuffy and traditional? We should be able to do this, this and this. And that's kind of what like Gwen is like a little bit about the witch college, is like, and there's these like 3 young witches that I want to experiment and stuff, and Gwen's like, as you should, besties, like, I'll help, sort of thing, instead of being like stuck with basic magic training where they don't get to like explore their powers. Gwen's like, I'll help you, let's go to the woods and like fuck shit up. Basically. Yeah, I really like it. I really like it. I have to read some of it in a Welsh accent in my head, but I've seen Gavin and Stacey, so I think I got that down. Because yeah, the boys are Welsh, so in my head I'm like doing the Welsh accent. I can't do a Welsh accent out loud. I'm not even gonna try, because I have Welsh friends and stuff, and I ain't offending people. But yeah, I can do it in my head. I can pretend Gavin and Stacey, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I really like it. So if you're into like Halloween Town, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, just like teenage witch show vibes, if you know, you know. Like, that's the vibe of this book. So I'm probably gonna try and read this like today and tomorrow maybe, and just get it done because I love it. And there's other like witchy books by Erin Sterling that I will most definitely be getting my hands on for next spooky season, because I love this. And that is it. Those are all the books I read this month, last month, technically. But like I said at the beginning, it's barely November, so I think it's okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, especially if you've read one of these books. I love geeking out with people about books, so geek out with me in the comments. Please, like, I love it. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.